In a world full of shitty internet parodies,
Oh boy.
one man
That's me.
would take the time to complain about it all
I think that's me.
and deliver the hot, spicy truth.
Oh, that's definitely me.
This is Burning Bridges with Ivan LeRoy.
Hey there, I'm Ivan LeRoy, and somebody in this podcast is a murderer.
First burn.
Stop asking for feedback. I'm serious. And let me assure you that of all the topics I'll ever cover on this show, I do in fact recognize this one as the most sensitive, and I will treat it as such. Feedback affects content creators in a variety of ways. Some people need it more than others. Some people deliver it more than others, even when they're not asked to. Refer back to the pilot episode of this podcast for my feelings on the delivery of feedback. If you recall, there's no point in giving feedback if you refuse to fully be honest with it, and for the majority of the community that is unfortunately the case. So what honestly is the point of asking for feedback in the first place when it's false? There, see? Half my argument's already been covered. So now let's address the person asking for the feedback. Why do you need to stop? Because if you're being completely honest and aware of yourself, you don't really want feedback. You want attention. And you want it with as little effort put into it as possible. I mean, why else are you abridging? Honestly. And I should make it clear before I go any further. I'm talking about asking for feedback on scripts, not final products. Once you upload your final product, it's completely fair game to unsolicited criticism, which is essentially what you want and in fact need. That's the very nature of art and audience. If they have no fealty to you, they're not gonna pull any punches. And if they explain themselves in detail, which a shocking amount actually do, that is where the truth lies. Conversely, your average guy you approach in a DM list is gonna say whatever the quickest thing is to get you out of their hair, which is usually something falsely nice. Don't like it, then you're playing in the wrong field. But asking for feedback on just the script undermines the entire experience. Frankly, you just want people to see your work without actually putting in the work required to produce it. You're gonna need to throw a few stinker final products out there. You're going to need to fail a few times before you get better. You're going to need to be objective and see the flaw yourself and stop repeating them. If you don't, you won't get better. But let's say you do throw a couple stinkers out there, magic number being 10. You produce 10 stinker parodies, and you still don't seem to get it right. Feedback from the audience isn't working, it's clear that the script is the problem. And you refuse to give up on writing. Still, do not ask for feedback on the script. Instead, first take the time to ask yourself a couple questions. Do I know what 3-act structure is? Do I know what a 3-part joke is? What kind of story am I telling here? Does it have themes or motives? Is it even a story? Is it just a joke? That's fine. What kind of joke? Does my script satisfy the parameters of that kind of joke? And I know what you're about to say here now, but LeRoy, I'm not a formally trained writer. I don't know about any of these things. Neither am I, kid, but I know. I learned them on my own damn time, and so should you. So where do you learn these things if you don't go to writer's school? That's up to you. Everyone has their own sources. For me personally, I just enjoy watching video essays on film and writing. That's where I absorb most of my information as it pertains to writing and production, to the point where it's all now become a reflex and not a question I have to ask myself. Now, let's say you've addressed all these questions and more for yourself. Still don't ask for feedback on the script. As much as I personally herald the power of the script, I need to be objective here and warn you that feedback on a script robs you of the experience of learning from that script in motion. The script itself is just words and paper or tablet. The script is not a full reflection of the vision. For example, one of the parodies that made the Rapid Fire Rewind this month was sent to me as a script for feedback. Can you imagine how I responded? I tore that fucking thing to shreds. I hated it. But guess what? They didn't change a goddamn thing about it afterwards. 'Cause remember, nobody truly wants feedback on a script. They produced it as is, and I enjoyed it. It was a completely different experience in motion because its best aspects couldn't be reflected by mere words. There is more to the final product than the script. There is direction, editing, acting, delivery, sound design, etc. As important as the script is to me personally, it is objectively only a fraction of the whole experience. Can mere words describe exactly what your hilarious visual edits are going to look like? Can they describe with 110% accuracy how your best voice actor is going to deliver it? You could be as specific as humanly possible in your script, and there's still many aspects that an outsider won't be able to glean or interpret the way you see it. It's your vision, not theirs. So why expect someone to see it the way that you do? Why would you want them to change that? But mind you, again, when the final product is out there, the interpretation now belongs to the audience. And allow me to lead that final assertion by example. As positively received as My Hero Academia 5 was, it sent a terrible precedent when it came to the power of a character death, which was completely out of my intention. Finally, with all of this in mind, now it is okay to ask for feedback. Because now, you're gonna ask for something more specific, something more pressing, genuine. You'll have genuine questions and the person you're asking will see that and will be happy to help. If you've completely ignored this monologue and keep going out and asking, hey, can you look at my script? Can you read this? What do you think of this? If your questions continue to be this broad and thoughtless, you're gonna get ignored, or you're gonna get lied to, or even worse, especially if you come asking me, you'll be asked this in return. What about this? What is this? Who are you? What does this say about you? Why should I care to help you when clearly you don't even care to begin understanding what you're doing in the first place? And that's my first burn. We'll be right back.
Rapid Fire Rewind!
Time to pick apart my favorite parodies of the month. Remember, links to these videos are in the description.
The following commentary is that of a single individual and does not reflect the views, objectives, and visions of the Abridged Lounge as a whole. Listen to them at your own discretion, dirtbag.
August 2017. Castlemania is a shitpost and Morning Ramen knows it. But guess what ain't shit? Everything in the details. The delivery, the almost entirely vocalized sound design, the eclectically casted cameos. It's all so silly and surreal you just gotta turn off your brain and enjoy the acid trip. But that's not to say it's all bark and no bite. There's something all young Abridgers could learn from this parody, and that's to set one simple goal, different from that of the original narrative, and run with it. The whole crux of the plot is that Dracula wants to throw a quote-unquote lit party. It's not a sophisticated motive, but it's an honest-to-God motive that drives the plot. All the silly nonsense thrown in between is just icing on the cake. If there's any legitimate issues, it's just a couple stray lip flaps here and there and some pacing issues. Small, but apparent only to the keenest of eyes. If I have a suggestion, it's a blunt one. Drop your flagship Naruto parody and pick Castlemania up as a series. There's a million Naruto parodies out there that hardly define themselves from one another. But there's only one Castlemania parody that's doing it right, and it's yours. ProjectVoiceBend is another lesser-known group that got cheated out of being highlighted in the old Abridged Rewind because it got taken down due to people complaining that we didn't highlight lesser-known groups. Oh boy, is that a new record? 7.5 minutes before I started admonishing my audience? Sorry, just very passionate about this group because this month they released episodes 19 and 20 of their flagship series. And like each episode they release, it's always better than the last. This is a group that desires to improve each and every time and succeeds every damn time. Honestly, watch the first episode and compare it to their latest. They've come a long way and now are boasting the definitive Legend of Korra Abridged, or as I said last month, the Monopoly. What defines ProjectVoiceBend so greatly, first and foremost, is their gut-busting visual editing and sight gags, which at this point have blended seamlessly with the source material. If you haven't seen the original show, you'll be convinced some of the shit they snuck in actually happened. My only criticism, really, is that the strength of their humor is in the moments of character, but what they expend the most effort of their comedic writing on is often immature, farty jerk-off humor. I'm serious. One of the punchlines in this episode is a character proclaiming they will jerk off. Considering how eager they are to improve, I think the next step for these guys is to start adding depth and substance to their story. Personally, I believe they missed a huge opportunity for commentary on the Avatar fanbase's unfair criticisms of the character Korra. They could have played on the very nature of no Avatar being perfect and having their own hang-ups. It was all out there and ready to have the ribbon tied. through the wonderful characterization of Juan, played by guest star Jello Apocalypse, a great grab by the way, but instead he simply tells Korra she fucked up and needs to fix things. I'm pretty sure she already knew that. Again, that's how I'd approach it, but I'm not ProjectVoiceBend, am I? Bardock, Dad of Goku by BohBear is a charmer. He's taken everything he's learned from the 1 or 2-bit wonders DBZA for Canadians, and now added some much more needed plot and characterization. It's not a riot by any means, but delivers some good laughs and bits. As I addressed in last month's Rewind, don't underestimate the power of consistency. This parody's got consistency in spades once it overcomes its slow start. But less consistent is the editing. BohBear hails from my alma mater, the school of who gives a fuck about editing, but there are a few unnecessarily bad bits in there, namely the scene where Bardock is speaking to one of his dying comrades and the scene appears to be fading in and out with the lip flaps, which is then followed up with another close-up on his face that doesn't have the same problem. Not asking you to break the bank on editing, bud, but keep little oversights like that in mind for next time. They unfortunately distract the people you really want to impress, who is, what, Takahata 101 again? But my real suggestion is, as one Letterkenny fan to another, keep those references or riffs to like one per parody. Otherwise, it's gonna look like you're just ripping them off. Pitter patter. BlazingAzureCrow's Digimon Triad Bridge 4 was worth the wait, and its intimidating 40-minute runtime is worth every second of your attention. Each fantastically paced and emotionally charged beat fires on all cylinders, making it possibly Project Mouthwash's best work to date. But without question, the best entry in this Digimon Tri-series. I'm not sure if I said this publicly yet, but few scriptwriters in the Abridged community make me seethe with jealousy like Logan Laidlaw does. He has absolute unquestioned mastery of his characters, which is all the more impressive with a cast as big as this one. Nobody gets shafted, everybody's lovable and has an understandable motive. You even feel for characters you don't see on screen, just in audio flashbacks. Logan also plays with one of my favorite writing tools, Pathos Bathos, which if you're unfamiliar with, it's this cardinal sin in modern cinema, but my god does it have a welcome home in parody. If y'all refuse to listen to me and why I find drama and parody so important, listen to Logan. He's fucking running laps around even the best abridging teams right now. Finally, coming in unannounced and out of fucking nowhere, One Punch Stand by Purple Eyes Wunfa, which reassures the abridging elders that their golden boy Perps hasn't missed a beat. Well, maybe he has just a little. The pacing is a bit off, and some of the humor is dated, but fuck that, it's hilarious. It's one of the best One Punch Man abridges I've seen to date. Not that there was much competition to begin with. It also reminds me of the heyday of the one-man show, those good old days when people weren't out for Little Karibo's blood, 2008. I'm not trying to be facetious, I think it's an unfortunately dying art form as big production houses are springing up like weeds in the age of Patreon. Also, not saying there isn't enough one-man shows, it's just that few guys master it with distinction like EOD and My Toaster is Retarded do, and still manage to stick around. It's hard. The bulk of the work is all on their own. Purple Eyes Wunfa knows this more than anybody, and I gotta applaud the man for staying in the game as busy as his personal life is. All the more impressive is that this latest outing proves that he continues to be the benchmark of quality in the subgenre, but not a subgenre, if you enjoy arguing in circles and not actually making anything, Ments. That reminds me, some of you kiddies might not know who Perps is. Well, he invented Ments. Don't listen to anybody else on that statement. He invented it with his bare fucking hands, in a cave with a box of scraps. So if you've never seen his work, start watching, because you can learn a lot from this guy.
Friendly fire!
This month I got CharlestonVO, co-writer and creator of Death Note Abridged, and DoktorApplejuce, creator of the Fake Stay series, into the War Room to discuss a wealth of topics as they pertain to the abridging community. It was honestly difficult cutting it all down to a digestible half hour, but even if that's too long for you, just take a gander at the description below. We have a table of contents with timestamps, so you can listen to whichever topic fits your fancy. Enjoy. So how's everyone doing right now?
Great.
I see Doc and I are both probably pretty exhausted now. We both just released new episodes, and Charlie hasn't killed himself yet, so we're all doing good right now. Oh, yeah. we all got things going on right now.
We're all exhausted. We're all.
I'm hopping out of the pan and into the fire. I'm immediately working on the next episode.
Oh, same. Recording starts. I pre-recorded the past 2 episodes, so now the recording stage starts again, and for me that's the most exhausting part of the process.
For the first time ever, I'm editing around scenes where I don't have people's lines in yet. Like I've never done that. I've always been like really fucking anal for some reason about like, okay, I gotta edit it all like linearly. But now I'm just like, fuck it. I'm just gonna start editing
I
scenes.
edit all over the fucking place, and I just stitch it together when I'm done. I don't give a fuck. When I have the lines, I have the lines.
For me, it's not the most exhausting part, but it is the worst part is the writing, because I hate writing on my own. I want someone to at least be there with me to at least bounce ideas off of.
You're always like, hey, I'm going to be in the voice chat. Someone want to hop in and bounce ideas with. I understand that. I like to write alone just because I just like to keep things really close to the chest. Writing wise, I like to keep things very singular and unified. But then you got guys like, because last night Charlie and Prescott and I were piecing something together, and I'm really excited for that. It's as much as I like writing alone, it's always a breath of fresh air to have some co-writers.
And on that note, I'm actually looking forward to writing on my own fairly soon because I recently picked out a show that I'm going to do. So
nice.
I'm going to do something on my own for once. Like I've never actually tried writing on my own for a series.
It's gonna be great.
This will be fun.
That's actually what that Black Lagoon thing is for. Something that I could write entirely on my own.
I'm excited. I saw like just the concept of that. You got me fucking interested, Doc. You piqued my interest.
Are you casting Chevy Chase? I'm sure he'd be up for some work now.
Yeah, so we're all writing right now, but you know what we're not doing right now? We're not asking for feedback. And that's the topic this month, is the nature of feedback. I mean, shit, we were in a fucking chat last night and someone tried to ask us if we could give feedback. And what did we all say? Hell no.
Absolutely
It was on a script, and
yeah.
I can't give feedback on a script. I have to see the actual completed project because it gives better context of like the delivery and what the visual gags are and the pacing. There's so much that scripts leave out that I personally can't critique properly.
Yep.
Yeah. Other than pacing, you can't fucking read into a script at all. Like if. You can be like, oh, well, this scene is a little long or this scene's a little short. But in the grand scheme of things, a script offers like a third of what you need to know. It's
just, for what I didn't discuss this in length in the monologue, but I did give the kind of the details that you guys just brought up. But for me, it's the fact of the vision. Like, at the end of the day, these are all just a bunch of amateurs writing. So they don't know yet how to effectively, 100 to 100%, effectively communicate their vision in a script yet. So how the fuck would we know what their intent is from just the script? Unless you're going to write everything down. And no one writes every single detail down. It would be impractical for time for something like this. Abridging. It's free. It's not commissioned work.
Yeah, like if I'm ever writing something with Prescott and like we have an idea for something, if we write a note, that's not because we want other people to understand it, so we remember that for later on.
Yeah.
Like it's never super detailed to the point where someone not knowing what we're doing is going to understand what it is. It's just like, oh, here's a note for when we're recording and we remember that. But like other than that, like it's never, detailed enough to warrant someone else looking at it and being like, oh, I know exactly what that is, because it's usually like 3 or 4 words. Don't ask people to fucking like give you feedback on scripts. It's a bad idea and it's useless to you.
That being said, do ask for feedback.
Yes.
On videos, absolutely, yes.
Like, that's how you improve, and if you don't want to improve, what the hell are you doing?
But here's the thing, like, and when we're talking about asking for feedback on scripts, we're talking about someone literally just posting a link to their fucking Google Doc script and saying, hey, look at this. Judge it for what it is. Give me the attention for not making the final product. And I don't like to entertain that behavior. Because recently someone did bring a script to me, and I looked at it, and I didn't fucking like it. But they produced it anyway, and they didn't use any of my feedback. And it ended up being fucking fantastic. And it just goes to show, it proved 2 points. No one gives a fuck about feedback. They honestly don't want the feedback. They just want the attention. And also the fact that the final product never reflects the fucking script. It never does. But that being said, if you really badly need feedback on your script, don't ask for feedback on the entire fucking script as a whole. Ask for little details, because you have to develop a self-awareness for yourself. Look at your script and think, what's my worst joke here? Be honest with yourself. What's my worst joke on the script? Now bring that to someone and say, hey, don't look at my entire script. Look at this one joke. Is this really my worst joke? How could I fix that one specific thing? Now I think more people would be, I think you guys too would be more willing to help with that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Versus, this, that. Because at that point, that's script doctoring. And that's a whole nother line of credit. But we don't want to be involved in other people's parodies to that extent. We're so busy with our own work. But another thing too is, let's be very, very honest and blunt here. How much do we actually fucking care about other people's scripts? Like, not at all. Like, I remember this I was watching on, recently on Netflix, Midnights in Paris. It's a great fucking film. It's a Woody Allen film. And, it's a great, there's the great bit about writing. He doesn't explain how it happens, but he goes back to the past and he meets Ernest Hemingway. And he talks about how competitive writing is. He goes, he literally asks Ernest Hemingway, feedback on his novel. And Ernest goes, I don't want to read your fucking book. He goes, because that's the nature of writing. It's competitive. If I read it, either I'm going to hate it because I'm a better writer than you, or I'm going to hate it because you're a better writer than me. And I always love that. I love that quote.
See, I understand that from a professional's perspective, but when it's a whole bunch of people doing things just for the sake of making them, I think it's a totally different perspective to have.
I agree it's a different game, but some people, including myself, kind of operate on a different level. We're not playing games.
That statement doesn't fit with me. It's just like I cannot judge a script, so
yeah. And that's exactly why I got you two on here, because we both have these very concrete feelings about feedback, but they come from very different perspectives.
But not on scripts, just in general, on videos, I do think it's vital to get feedback.
Yeah, but I believe that's up to the audience. The people you're trying to impress ultimately need to be the people who decide what's going on. And you brought this up to me right before we started, Doc, about those that feedback you were looking to. Bring that up with us.
I think it's part a responsibility of the creator to get feedback. Like, on YouTube, you're not going to get very good feedback. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at the original episode 0, my very first ever parody. It's absolute garbage. I'm looking at it right now, and most of the comments are, wow, this is funny, this is so funny, and the like to dislike ratio, it's got 96% likes. I just did the math on it. Whereas I posted on Reddit to the Fate Stay Night subreddit asking for feedback, and I got in-depth critiques that actually helped me improve. So if you want feedback, go to Reddit.
Do the research.
I fucking love it when people post their video and they see their comments and they're just like, oh my god, I think this is great. You know, like, oh my god, this is fantastic. Look at all these positive comments I'm getting. And then as soon as they speak or look for feedback from another content creator and they get like one just a little bit of a negative comment on their video, they lose their minds. Like, I mean, this goes back to, we've had this conversation a million times.
Yeah.
But it's like one smart dude who knows what he's doing versus friggin' like 500 idiots who are watching your video. Like, if you're smart, you're going to listen to the one smart person and not the 500 people who have no idea what goes into this.
Like, I can getting kind of upset.
Oh, upset's a completely natural feeling, but it's not being upset. It's what you do with that feeling. It's your actions, not your feelings. And there's people who they give up or they throw a fucking fit.
Yeah, abridgers aren't the most.
They're not the most equipped for this.
No, they're.
And that's why I push the ability to be self-aware, because that you can equip yourself if you be honest with yourself.
When I first posted this thing on Reddit and I got all this negative feedback, I'll admit at first I was like, man, what do they know? I made this. I spent so much time. I'm so proud of it. But then, like, after a while, I had to like put it aside. I had to be like, you know what? Maybe they have a point. And then later it was, I'm gonna fucking show them that I can do better. And
yep. That's how you do it.
At least based on, I posted later on the episode 1 link, and they said this is better. If you listen to feedback, you will improve.
Those really in-depth reviews that Doc was getting, those were people who were going out of their way on their own time. Like the fact that somebody would go out of their way, even if they hated it or liked it, they're investing time in you. Like, even if it's a bad review, take that as a fucking compliment. Because they took time out of their day to fucking give you some information. Versus you going into the fucking DMs of somebody who thinks a better writer than you and going, hey, look at this. Because they're just gonna shoo you away. You're pushing into their time. They'll give you your time if they want to. But don't take their time away. You're gonna get the more honest feedback when they're giving time, not you taking it.
I do kind of agree with that. At the same time, you have to account for, the ones who are giving you their time just because they want some attention in the comments.
That's an interesting thing to bring up, too. How do you suss that out?
Typically, when I see, like, a long-winded paragraph of just, like, this is terrible and it sucks and everything but it is awful and I hate you, I'm just like, okay, they're just looking for attention. But when it's, like, a really well-put, like, maybe 3 points, well worded and just sort of to the point, that's usually when I think, this person's not fucking around. They actually are legitimately giving feedback, and I appreciate that they took the time out of their day to do that. But it's those long fucking books that people write where it's just like, oh my god, this is the worst, and I hope you never fucking make a video again. That's when I'm thinking, like, you know what?
Just the extremes.
Just ignore this one.
I agree. I'll definitely make a correction. You're right. Sometimes there is a little too much. There's people with too much time on their hands.
But if the bottom line is, if you don't want feedback, don't upload videos to YouTube.
Here's the thing. When I think about YouTube as feedback, I think of YouTube as a pop market feedback. The mindless majority. Can you get the mindless majority on your side? Because I couldn't do that with Ippo, but I could do it with my hero. And that does count for something. It's not that valuable, but it is a factor. But you need to understand it for what it is. It's a mindless majority.
Yeah, if you look at the early episodes of Death Note, or in Doc's case, like he said, the early episodes of his Fate stuff, like, we got the fucking, majority on our sides early on with our very first few videos. That doesn't say much for them.
I had the exact opposite problem. No one ever wanted to put up with my shit until, like, post-Tiba. Like, it took me about a year and a half before I even got a modicum of positive feedback. And that informed what I did. Like, I am not where I am today if people had just given me positive reinforcement right off the bat.
Gaining that group out of the beginning is all about the show you choose to do. Doc and I did really popular shows that are, just incredibly search-friendly. Yeah. Yeah, so if you're going to get positive feedback, the easiest way to do that is to pick a popular show. If you're doing kind of like, I don't know, like a niche show, or, like something that wouldn't be as search friendly, the only people that you're going to get watching those videos are the really hardcore fans of that show.
Yeah.
And if they're hardcore fans who are really just looking for something else, they're going to be a bit tougher on you. They're not people who are like, I watched a few episodes of Death and I thought it was cool. Oh, you made a fart joke. Fuck yeah, I love this shit. Like it's a completely different thing. Oh my god, that's the easiest thing too. Pick a popular show and just fill it with references, and you're gonna get the friggin' respect of everybody that watches your video, except for the people who make videos, who are the people you should be trying to get the respect from.
And that's the next thing I want to talk about. We briefly brought it up. I want to bring it back. If we are telling you not to seek out people for feedback of those people who know what they're talking about, how the ones who do come to give you their time, but like you said before, some people are just looking for attention. How do you differentiate between the person whose opinion matters and the one who doesn't really honestly want to be constructive and is just looking for attention? How do you believe that you can distinguish?
If you don't look out for, if you don't track somebody down and ask for feedback, I think that any feedback you get from someone you haven't asked of it, like, let's put it this way, 9 out of 10 times, I think, if you're to get a feedback on video from someone you didn't message yourself, it's going to be some person who doesn't make content. Like, yeah. I mean, I've seen comments from people that also make videos who just say, like, this is good, or I think this could be improved. That you should listen to. Of course, that involves research into who it is, and typically people who make videos or viewers aren't going to be fucking bothered to do that. But I'd say 9 out of 10 times, if you just get some comment on a video and you have no idea who it is or you didn't speak to them, I think it's best to just ignore it if you aren't looking for feedback at all. Yeah. That said, that's not the smart way to do it. But 9 out of 10 times it's garbage feedback and it doesn't matter.
Yeah. There are a lot of creators with their own Discord server, and a lot of them have critique channels where you can post your stuff. Post it there, or in the ABLO server. There's the critique thing, and you'll get people. It'll just be like posting your.
They'll leap on it like flies, and that's what I want to get on. How do you? Because that's a place where you will get a lot of opinions, but maybe not every opinion is the one you want to listen to. In that case, I suggest digging into their body. Do your research, dig into their body of work, and see if you think what they make is something of a valuable opinion.
If they say why something needs to be changed, listen to the why.
Yeah, I like that.
That'll help you out a lot.
Yeah, you're dead on. Don't change something if someone says it should be changed for the sake of changing it.
Yep.
The why, that's so important. Absolutely important. And it's so easy to look for good feedback. It really is, but no one fucking does it.
It's the why, not the how. I know there are some people that don't want to listen to feedback that don't say, here's how you fix it. I think that's sort of in the ballpark of the creator themselves to find out. Like, for example, Tiba, Dumb Justice, got 3 different judges saying, hey, the audio needs work, without saying why, or without saying how to.
Yeah,
to fix it.
That was Abridged 11 Go. Fucking HBI 2K. He was all about the fucking sound design, and then just randomly, like he didn't say anything in the critique at the end of the review, but then like a month later, he goes on fucking Twitter and goes, compression, multi-band compression, man, it's your best friend. I'm like, why didn't you say that in your fucking review? That would have been so valuable. Because I didn't know what multi-band was. I think how is just as important.
You can't have how without why. If there's no why, there's no point in going to how.
I like this.
You can go out of your way to find the how. It's the what that the what and the why that the feedback should provide.
Yep.
And I actually like to expand on that. I actually love how, we're talking about going specifically for feedback on something like audio. It's just like a script. With a script, like Ivan, you put it really well before when you said, give me, or like ask for something very specific, whether it's the weak joke or whether it's, the length of a certain scene. Is there too much dialogue or whatever? I actually would prefer people to send me their video and say, hey, what do you think about this? I mean, I'm sure you guys are the same. Obviously, if you're looking at the overall thing, a video is way easier to kind of give critique on than a script. But if you're looking for feedback, I think, like Doc's saying right now, what he did with the whole audio thing, you should absolutely do that with the video as well.
Yep.
Go for the very specific bit. What do you think about, the dialogue? Or what do you think about the audio design? Or what do you think about even just like this one scene? You're always going to get much better feedback. Because if you're asking for an entire video's worth of feedback, most of the time, whoever is watching it for you, they don't really give a shit. They're just going to half-ass their feedback. If you're asking for something very specific, they're going to put way more time into it, and you're going to get way more out of it at the same time.
Anything else anyone wants to add before we wrap this up? 'Cause I don't want to keep you guys too long. I know we're all fucking busy today. I thank you for having this. This is a great fucking discussion. I don't think we fucked around at all today. That's a first for this show. But we could change that.
I mean, I think we're all working on like fucking 5 things at once.
Yes, and we're all like we're all somehow involved with each other's shit at some capacity.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it's like if you look at like on the surface, everyone's like, okay, well, Charlie's working on Death Note, Doc's working on Fate, and Ivan's working on My Hero, but we're also working
on each other's shit. Like, Charlie, why aren't you working on that one thing right now? What the fuck, man? What are you doing right now?
Yeah, that one thing, because I need lines from the person who's also holding up on Death Note right now.
Because you're in someone's fucking podcast right now when you should be working on that.
I should be working on like 3 different things right now. Oh man.
I mean, I think if anyone's the busiest, like I'm just super focused on one project. Like the other stuff just kind of happens on the side. I think if someone's really spread themselves really thin right now, it's Doc. Doc, how many fucking shows are you editing for right now? But you're projected to edit for. Because I can name like 3.
I'm editing Stina's I'm editing Mew Venus's clan ad, but
which was fantastic,
next episode,
by the way. Of our viewers have not seen that yet. Please do. Yeah, I want to understand why we don't want feedback. Because this is how fucking busy we are right now. Because you gotta remember, on top of this, we have real lives.
My feedback is don't spread yourself too thin.
like Doc
Take
does.
it from me.
Poor Doc. Doc, that's the thing. 'Cause it's not even just the stuff you're projected to work on. It's your own personal shows. I can name like 4 fucking shows you're trying to do right now for yourself.
I only have 2 shows.
I've been there.
And then
I know
one
that.
shot.
And that's one of the most hardest decisions you ever have to make as a content creator is letting a project go. Because I fully recorded a project. Great fucking voice actors. I won't name them. I got somebody to start editing on it. And then he had to decline because he got super busy. And he felt terrible. And I felt terrible. And it was like, I could do this, but I would be spreading myself too thin. And sometimes you just gotta understand that some things will not get made. And you gotta focus on the things that matter the most.
I've abandoned a couple things, but it's never been, like, I've never really felt bad about it, just because, I don't know.
It kills me because I invested so much time in it already. Like, it's recorded, there's some scenes already made, it's not that long, but just investing any more time would be an issue.
Hire me, I'll edit it for you. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, don't worry, we're trying to, but this is not the place to plug the fucking Patreon. On this show, the only Patreon we ever bring up is Earl's.
To Earl BlazingAzure's Patreon.
Yeah, we
You know what?
talk about
I'm gonna get a coffee.
Oh yeah, what's a coffee
whatever
thing? What the fuck is that?
It's like a one-time donation rather than like a monthly thing like Patreon is.
Nah, people can donate one time on Patreon.
Oh, they can?
Yeah, people doing that. That's what people do on mine. They
after
donate
a
once a month and then they wait till the next episode comes out and they do it again. Like my donations only go up when an episode's released.
That makes sense. Yeah, because like, I mean,
because that's the model that I encourage.
I was gonna say, if you're an abridger, don't make a fucking Patreon unless you're gonna set it to per video.
Yeah.
Or if you're doing monthly uploads. If you're doing monthly uploads, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you're one of like the fucking 1% who's doing monthly uploads, but if you're charging them per month and you're only uploading every couple months, like, go fuck yourself.
That's the thing that bugs me the most about Patreon is the rewards people come up with. There's like a time and money cost that I don't get.
The other day I was thinking about like what I could do for Patreon when eventually I need funding just to be able to pay someone to edit for me. I was thinking, like, what the fuck can the rewards be? Like, that wouldn't, like, if it's like, you can check out the previous scripts for finished episodes. Who gives a fuck? Just watch the fucking video. You don't need
oh my god, I know exactly who you're talking about, and it's like who
or
gives
like,
a fuck
or
about
even
your
like,
scripts?
you know,
You're not the strength of your channel is not even your scripts. What are you doing?
It's like I'd be much more.
What was that, like a $20
like
tier too? Like, holy shit!
I don't know. I'd be much more interested in like raw recording files.
Yeah,
that's what I'd be interested in. Not fucking scripts. Yeah, exactly.
If you get enamored with the voice actors of a certain group, a blooper reel would be a perfect fucking reward.
Behind the scenes editing or something. I mean, I'm gonna be doing a bunch of editing streams once I can edit certain scenes, but like, you know, I understand why people might want to make it a Patreon thing.
You know, the tier that I love the most. I want your opinions on this because I don't know what to make of this. It's little that for $400 a month, you get to play video games with him for an hour.
That is fucking hilarious.
I don't know how does that? Because people are actually doing that. How does that work? I would be terrified. I'll be honest. I'd be terrified. Someone wants to pay $400 to see me? That's a bit obsessive.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey, pay me $400 and never fucking speak to me.
Never fucking talk to me because you're probably a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Paying $400 for a fucking abridger. Come on.
That's why, like, if I do make a Patreon, I think they would be like $1, $3, $5.
That's how I'm doing. I do $1, $5, and $50.
The highest would be like $20.
I go $1, $5, $50, and I say don't donate to the $50 unless you're one of those crazy fuckers. I should change that tier to crazy fucker tier.
Yeah.
My thing with Patreons is like a lot of the rewards where I think it's worthwhile. It's like these are things that I do for free. Like the blooper reel, for example. I always do a blooper reel, or there are people that like withhold episodes.
Now here's the one who does this right, the Schmuck Squad. They pre-made their shit. And now they're playing a game with the copyright and saying, hey, while you wait for the copyright, pay to see. I think that is a brilliant fucking model.
That's clever.
I think that's the most brilliant Patreon model I've ever seen come up in a Bridger's Patreon.
And they also like put out previews, which is nice.
It's like a more stealthful way to advertise your Patreon without like, hey, remember my
Without being
Patreon?
obnoxious about it. Yeah.
You just go, hey, want to see this now? Here's the link. and then they can suss out.
I can't wait for the day when I release a video that's just gonna be like the most clickbaity thing ever. Like, click here and help, otherwise Death Note Abridged is dead. You know, canceling Death
or else I write
Abridged.
your name in the Death Note.
Yeah. Canceling Death Note
Just
Abridged.
push your hair on front of your face and get a real life Death Note and be like, you don't start donating to my Patreon, I'm gonna start writing your names. I know who you are.
Yeah.
Have fucking Prescott in a Ryuk mask, just talking his normal voice. Donate to the Patreon. Wearing his glasses over the mask. Now that's a good. That is a good marketing strategy.
Another
right
tier
there.
I never understood was the voice the voice message ones. But now that I think about it, I feel like people would pay to have Light say something to them.
That's a lot of time taken away. If I'm being honest, that's time away from production. Those are the models I don't like.
The stuff with the voice message from an actor, unless the actor's getting a cut of the Patreon, why are you getting them to give your Patreons a reward?
Okay now here's the thing, I don't know who does. I'm not sure if they actually do that, but I believe the good in me believes that tier is specifically to pay that voice actor. Like, they make that money. That's just for them. That's never the case. But like, if I would never do that because that takes away from time for production. Because I'm more, time is what I care about most. You can make money back tenfold a million different ways, but you never get time back.
See, that's why I wouldn't advertise it as like a character saying something for you, be Light saying something for you, because Prescott is directly involved with me on this series.
Yeah.
See, that wouldn't take any time away.
But for me, that's what it'd be because I don't live close. You have multiple guys that are pretty close to you, aren't they?
The closest people to me in this community that do this stuff that I know are either in Vancouver or in Idaho, which are both like 2-day drives away. Yeah. I'm super isolated.
Yeah, Doc lives in the fucking mountains like a mountain man. He fucking lives off the land with his dog Ramsey. Doc, if it wasn't for Ramsey, you'd be fucking dead. He fucking hunts all the fucking food for you.
Dude, he killed a bear that was trying to attack me yesterday.
Ramsey killed a bear for fun.
The best people.
Ramsey, get over here. Ramsey's got shit to say, dog.
He knows how to build a trap from nothing but like twigs.
He's like those velociraptors from Jurassic Park. He fucking slit a bear's throat but didn't kill it all the way, so that he would attract more bears that would come to help it. So he could kill more bears. Which is also impressive. The fact that he got bears to feel momentary compassion for one another. That normally doesn't happen with bears. He actually made bears feel sorry for themselves.
That's why you gotta fucking target the Berenstain bears.
This is why Ramsey is dangerous, because he's actually causing solitary predators to band together. Ramsey will be his own undoing.
Bears are the new bees. Ramsey is fucking...
Imagine if there was a hive of bears. Holy shit.
How big would that fucking hive be?
It would be a mountain. It would be the mountain that... That's the mountain that Doc lives on, is Bear Mountain.
I'm just picturing bears dressed up as bumblebees.
No, see, I imagine the bears are yellow and striped.
Like a little antennas sticking out the top.
I think the bears are yellow and striped. Like, their fur is just dyed yellow.
Nah, dude, they're wearing costumes.
Like, they want you to see them coming.
It's so
I'm imagining, like, the Planet of the Apes.
I'm imagining them, like... They're like jumping off of rocks, pretending they can fly.
Have you seen the new Planet of the Apes films? The bears are riding horses. They're just like bees. They've scribbled on the walls, bear, no kill bear. Ramsey kill bear, but bear, no kill bear.
Be friend.
You know how I know Craig Ferguson? Because he's in How to Train Your Dragon.
Yes, he is.
Doc's obsessed with How to Train Your Dragon.
Ivan likes to make it out that I'm obsessed with it. And
it's a good movie
if
to be
I was
obsessed
with it, I wouldn't mind.
I heard you tried to name Ramsey Toothless, but Ramsey rejected the name, and he said...
He said, no, name Ramsey.
Okay. He ran away and came back with a picture of Ramsey Bolton.
He was like, ooh, Ramsey.
No, he came back with the actor who played Ramsey Bolton in his mouth.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Burn out.
And that wraps up another great month. Special thanks to CharlestonVO and DoktorApplejuce for taking the time out of their busy schedules to shoot this shit on a hot mic. And another big thanks to the wonderful content creators whose work I got to dissect this month. Links to all their work are in the description. And don't forget to hit that dislike button to announce the world that you've joined me in the thumbs downing the status quo. I'll catch fire with you next time, kiddies. Take care.